Tawa have the ball. It comes to a stop, and it's an opportunity here. They go wide, and it looks as if he's gone close, but they'll have to recycle it again here.
Oh, they're under pressure here, Petone, under real. TJ Clark will boot this into touch.
Might be right, he's out like dog balls. Who's that blue?
Secured line out with Logan Henry, and a kick through by Carn Green. Rolls down into the 22, and it's been chased back into the in goal. That gust of wind has resulted in that just falling into the corner. And it's going to be a goal line dropout. And, well, he was hoping it was going to go over the dead ball line there.
Got him behind the kick. And Tawa running it close, dotting the ball down, but they will get the goal line dropout. Hopefully get a few metres behind this kick and look to reset their defence.
So here we go. Walmsley secured by Solomon. And Logan Henry skips in front of Carn Green into the hands of Taylor Henry. And Taylor Henry has been knocked on. So, and we have time off as there's a Petone player down on the ground with an injury.
Okay, time's off.
And we're going to have an inquiry here with the assistant referee, Campbell Barry. Let's have a listen into that. Now, it looks like I think this is just going to be for communication gear. Obviously, Campbell Barry cannot be heard by his referee, Daniel Magna. That's why we can't hear him either. We're going to be bringing you score updates from around the grounds in the Premier competition.
Back on. Back on.
So time is going to be back on here at Petone Rec, and it's going to be a scrum for Tawa. A knock on against Petone. Scrum roughly about 7 metres outside Tawa's 22. But at the times, we're still having Taylor Henry. Looks like he's being looked at here for see if his welfare is fine, and it is. So time is back on, and we're going to have a scrum. Now, of course, this front row battle is going to be interesting today. Luke Dunlop. We have PJ Sheck, who played for the Wellington Lions last year and was in the Highlanders wider squad. And we've also got a Wallaby in the front row for Petone today, Pete Cowan. A good matchup here in the scrum. But it's been collapsed. So the first one of the day has gone down as flat as a pancake.
We'll go with that. Sorry, boys.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're just going to move the scrum slightly to the left of the mark. We can see here this ground is not in the best condition here today, and an early scrum being moved left of the mark here, and they'll reset.
Well, of course, this ground 5 weeks ago was a mud pit. And the last home game of the Swindale for Petone had to be played at the Hut Rec, and since then they've had rollers on. Penalty is for hinging against the experienced Pete Cowan, who's not happy about that one. They had to get rollers on here, and they had to get some sand and pump it down, because one interesting thing here about the Petone Rec is there's a high water table underneath it at the moment, and that is why, particularly with all the rain we've had in Wellington this winter, that's why the Petone Rec has not been in great shape. But it's been able to be played on today. They've really looked after it for the last 5 weeks. We've got it here for some Jubilee Cup action.
Alright, time's off.
And this is going to be the other problem this afternoon, of course, is this wind, Luke Dunlop. The ball, of course, went into touch. And, of course, it's going to be dragged to the other side of the wreck towards the Welltech buildings. With this power of this wind is powerful. We're not used to wind in Wellington lately. We've had it for about, in this intensity, for about 2 months. And, of course, that's going to be another factor too. The throw is not straight, and so it's going to be a scrum on the 15-metre mark. Eastern touchline for Petone.
Longer bind.
Yeah, well, danger of losing the ball on both sides of the field here. Obviously, the wind pushing it away from us here as we look on. But also, you kick that football into the now newly closed off grandstand, you're not getting that thing back anytime soon.
Oh, no, you're not. Not now with these... we're right up against it here. We've got these big wooden plywood frames that the builders have put up, courtesy of the engineers, to stop people going into the grandstand because the roof might fall on them.
Give it up.
Henry at the back finds Green, and Henry skips it through to Malolo, and he wrestles around the first tackle brought down by Wormsley. Mason Henry at acting halfback gives it back to TJ Clark, and he managed to get over the top there of Tony Solomona.
Absolutely decent little kick into space from Khan Green. And it looks like they've gone for the quick throw in here from the line out.
So the throw in has come in, and it's a good one. This catching Petone napping there, and it's a penalty against Petone for not rolling away.
11.
And that time there, Cam Ferreira, the halfback playing on the wing this afternoon, penalised for not rolling away. So this match brought to you live on Huddy Sports YouTube. We've got 2 games live on the channel this afternoon. That's the first time. We've also got St. Pat Silverstream and Scots on our YouTube channel. Adam Julian, commentator for that game. You'll have to listen to him carefully for the score on that game because haven't got quite the resources for the scoreboard and the timer up there at Silverstream. But we have got footage up there, and it's live footage, and Scots were scoring early in that game to go ahead. Ball at the back. Oeti Parapara, box kicks it high, chasing up his Cam Ferreira, and it's been well secured by Akira Iramir, the son of Alama Iramir, who is part of the coaching staff here at Tawa this season. Good offload in the tackle, and here they go. They open up Tawa. They charge through, they break through 2 tacklers. Henry blowing out of the way. They advance towards the 22. Tawa on fire here at Petone Rec early in the semi-final. Good charge again. And it's got to be a scrum to Petone.
Good attacking break there from Tawa. It was Isi Somaki up the left wing. But unfortunately, they lost control of it as they...
Well, you're on the mark. Step back. Mark's here. Mark's here.
Apologies, folks. We just had a little technical gremlin there. We just had to tidy up.
Holding this place, Luke. Right, Red. Go ahead.
Hoiti Parapara drop through. Petone under pressure. So Wormsley dragged down over the top as Logan Henry, but the try has been awarded. And it's going to be Luke Wormsley. By the looks of it, no, Hoiti Parapara, by the looks of it, may have scored there for Tawa. So first on the board is Tawa, 5-0, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah, great break. Just to the right of the goalpost, and they shuffled it out left. And Hoiti Parapara is the man who scores first for Tawa here today.
Hey, that's annoying.
Looks as if it'll be Hauiti Parapara to convert his own try here, by the looks of things.
Take a headset off, you need to help us out.
Go, Brent! And touch. We're here. Yeah, put his foot on touch. Holding the space, Red. You're doing a good job. Flag!
Welcome back. We had some internet issues just before. We just had to fix that up, and so we are back now of our coverage. Apologies for the delay there. Sometimes the internet's always not your best friend, but the score here is 14-0. We have tries to Hauiti Parapara and Luke Walmsley, and 2 conversions to Hauiti Parapara. And Tawa just in full control of this game at the moment, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah, absolutely. Good start for them, 14-0. Try there in the break that we had from Luke Walmsley, converted by Hauiti Parapara.
So Petone here at the moment now have a scrum inside Tawa's 22. And they really do need to be the next team to score. At the back they go, Teddy Hearn. It's wrestled to ground. Secured by Henry. And they rumble forward. Emery coming in the rear for support. Pet Cowan, it's a mess up, and that's the problem with Petone. They've made too many errors, and now they advance out of their 22 to Tawa. And it bounces wildly, and it's been picked up by Green into the hands of Jack Ross. Ross takes it into contact. Williamson, secured by Plummer. And Green finds Malolo, skips in front. Wrapped to ground by Nolofa. There's a slow build up here, and it's been knocked on by Williamson, but there was a penalty.
2,400.
Yeah. And no drop-offs. So decision time here for Petone. Trailing 14-0 on the scoreboard. And TJ Clark is going to kick this ball into touch. TJ Clark this season, 95 points in the Swindale Shield. And that ball has not gone out. It's been picked up by Walmsley in the in goal. And his kick hasn't found touch, but it has now. 2 bounces and rolled over in front of the Tawa dugout. So touch finders are important, particularly in this difficult wind here, Luke Dunlop. But for Petone, there's just too many errors in their game at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen both teams penalised, we've seen both teams dropping the ball. And the wind is affecting these touch finders early in this game here.
Emery finds Henry. It's going to be front for Malolo. Oh, it's nearly been intercepted that time by Tony Solomona. And Ferreira's under pressure. But we have time off here.
And the referee heading over to his assistant again. Have a listen in.
Here you go. Now we tempo. One hand off the left half.
So that is actually a yellow card for Tony Solomona, as he's yellow carded for slapping the ball down. And so Something of good fortune has come out here for Petone. It's a big kicker to touch, and that is going to go right into Tawa's 22. Right on the Welltec touch line. Ryan Emery in the pattern of him and Mason Henry as being good for Petone this season. But that time it's messy and it's Cowan has to whack it back. Henry's under all sorts of pressure and he's lost the ball, but we're coming back for a knock-on against Tawa at the line-out. And so it will be a scrum for Petone. The metre inside Tawa's 22. So 14-0 here at Petone Rec. Luke Dunlop, what are some of the other scores going around in Jubilee and Hardham Cup action this week?
Absolutely, I'll just grab those up for you. Been what looks to be an exciting first round of Jubilee Cup this week, here at least, at this ground. As we head around the grounds. Sorry, I'll just get that up for you. Might take me a minute here, unfortunately.
Okay, we'll come back to the action. So, Logan Henry. Yet again, this is the second time in this match a scrum has collapsed. The front row is just still trying to figure each other out. Let's have a listen.
Make it look straight, please. No. The broke.
So the issue there at scrum time is that they're not keeping themselves straight. That's resulting in the front rows collapsing. So here we go. It's fed in by Henry.
Going down, head and shoulders.
Well, yet again, Petone have been penalised. Head and shoulders going down. That's the call there from referee Mangan. That's the second time Petone have been pinged for that infringement at scrum time.
Yeah, well, obviously important to keep the body heights up there at scrum time. As Tawa put the touch finder away in the wind. Gets himself onto right around about the 10-metre line on the Tawa side of halfway.
So joiner Noalofa, product of Rongotai College, to feed the line out. Made his debut for Tawa against Petone in 2021. Ball's been secured by Petone in the hands of Mason Henry. Wrestle to ground. Henry reaches in to Teddy Hearn. Kershaw lofts it up. And here they go. This is what they're capable of. Here goes Malolo. He's got Clark and Solomon if he can get it. He's got himself isolated. Is there going to be a potential penalty? Logan Henry. It's juggled by Williamson. Clark offloads to Malolo. Here we go. Petone offloads it to Taylor Henry. And Taylor Henry scores for Petone. And that's what the doctor ordered there for the Villagers.
Absolutely a great try. Taylor Henry gets himself over the line and gets Tawa the score and gets them back in the game. Sorry, that's Petone scoring that try, beg your pardon. And while that try has been scored here, I will now get those scores for you around the grounds. We've got Johnsonville up 17-0 to Old Boys University. Marist trailing by 15 points to 5 to Rongotai. We've got the Petone game here, 14-5 to Tawa. Hutt Old Boys Marist against Wellington, 21-7 to Hutt Old Boys. Pornicki 12, Avalon 0. And it's a 0-0 in the final game. Northern United and Wainui Mota.
Wainui Mata and Norths, that's always a good match, that one. TJ Clark's conversion is successful. And it narrows the margin down to 7. 14-7 is the score here. Tawa ahead of Petone at the Petone Rec. So this Jubilee Cup quarter-final. Now, if it's a draw at full time, this is the scenario. This applies to the Premier grade and also to the Prem Reserve grade. Draw at full time. 2 periods of 10 minutes of extra time, and after that it goes down to most tries scored, and then who bet who in the round robin. So that is the scenario here in the Jubilee Cup playoff section. Here we go, Walmsley gets the match back on track. Williamson tries to offload it to Solomon, but unfortunately Tawa have picked up the loose ball. Here goes Fermanis. They're on fire again, the Wolfpack. They're 10 metres inside the 22 now. Lua bashes through. Henry scrags and brings him down. Sheck charges in. Logan Henry playing pretty much like his brother Mason at the moment in the flanks. Dunlop over the top of the ball. Have they got the turnover? No, here it comes again. Tawa lunging. They're 5 away from the line. Northern end of the recreational ground. They press forward. Pata out to Fermanis again. The Tawa forwards putting in the hard grind. Sheck loses control of the ball, and Malolo has it, and they offload it to Ferreira. Ferreira goes, gives it out to TJ Clark, who puts his boot behind him. And look at the pace of Luke Walmsley racing against Cam Ferreira. Down to the just outside his 22. Petone over the top of the ball. Have they secured it? They do. Malolo gets the turnover. That was excellent pace that time there by Walmsley to come back. And there's got to be a double blast and a yellow card here.
There wasn't a clear tap. I believe he tried to, but I couldn't see it. Okay. We're going to explain. We don't have a clear tap, so therefore I'm going back to the referee.
No, that's fair. That's a penalty though to us.
There's no clear tap, so we're staying here with the penalty.
So good communication there from referee Daniel Magnan around that decision. There was no clear tap, so therefore Tawa avoid the fate of a yellow card there.
Yeah, well, a lucky break for Tawa. They were scrambling defensively. The halves were in a foot race. The halfback on the wing for Petone.
Loose ball has been secured by Tawa. 7 metres outside there in goal, the southern end. Hauiti Pata played for Otago last season in the Bunnings MPC. Box kicks it into touch, and the flag of Campbell Berry comes up, and it's going to be a line out for Petone.
Yep, and again you see not a great deal of distance on the clearing kick due to this wind, but they'll take it. It gives them a chance to reset and set up defensively again as Petone take down the line out and look to set the rolling maul.
Jack Ross in the centre of there as they put the battering ram forward into this maul. There's an advantage being played here for the Villagers. It comes out to Malolo, who's starting to come alive in this game. Walmsley does well to bring him down. Logan Henry picks and goes, offloads it to Cam Ferreira. Green finds Solomon. Solomon offloads, but he's got a foot in touch, but will come back for the penalty.
Well, they are really counting up here against Tawa, the penalties.
No, particularly when they get inside their 20, when Petone get inside their 22, and they are giving away a few penalties. Now, one interesting fact here as well is they're also down a player as well.
Yes, one in the bin already.
You go.
So they'll have to make sure they do clean up their act.
A few down round. 3 on the side. Sin bin can come back on if you want them to. Time's off.
So we go, we're back to 15. The voice of assistant referee Trevor Walker has indicated that the 10 minutes for Tony Solomona is over. And so Tawa are back to a full complement of players.
Yeah.
So 14-7 is the score here at Petone Rec.
14, come here.
Referee Magnan's just going to have to talk to him. On notice, he knows what happens if he does it again. Time's back on. And Ryan Emery Secures it by Ross. And they swarm around him like a pack of bees. And they look to drive forward. But Tawa slowing down the advancement. The ball's in there with Ryan Emery. And they drive towards the line. They're only 3 metres away. Here comes the shunt. Can they get the ball down? They lunge forward. There's pleas for a celebration. Ross is reaching it. The try has been scored. The try has been scored. And it's Ryan Emery, the hooker, getting pats on the back.
Yeah, the rolling maul again does it. They push him over and they score again. The hooker held it at the back of the rolling maul and they had too much power. And it was the bulk of penalties that built up against Tawa that allowed Petone to get in that position and put the pressure on with the rolling maul. You bet that the Tawa players there, they were really wary of conceding another penalty, defending that maul, and perhaps that was what allowed Petone to get the upper hand there.
Ryan Emery in his 68th game. Goes over and scores for the Villagers. His grandfather, Carl, is a life member of the club.
You've got 40 seconds down. Blue is just taking a little step on Tawa. Their ball.
And it's a good thing here you can actually see that now, you don't get this often, but with our ability to hear the referees today, you get to hear the referees briefly. They're talking about certain patterns and certain things in the game. And that's a good opportunity for them at the time when there's a shot at goal to line up and see what's actually going on and talking to his assistant. So that gives you a little insight into what happens with the team of 3 out there in the referee ranks. The conversion was unsuccessful, so the score remains 14 points to 12, and we have time off here again. Now what's happening here is referee Magnan is asking questions that are called the Maddox questions. Now Taylor Henry earlier in the game looked a little bit wheezy on his feet, and now the medic has asked him to come off after a few questions there by referee Magnan. Now there's a thing called the blue card for concussions. There's no blue card given, but they've done that as a substitution, and that's good for the welfare of the players, because there's such awareness around head injuries in our game. Ball picked up by Malolo, and here goes Solomon. Kicks it high in the air, and they're having to chase back after it as Tony Solomona. It might have too much on it. It goes into the in goal, and it rolls just short of the line, and he has to run it out to Solomona. And here goes Hoeti Parapara. Runs in and smashed by Malolo, and a good tackle. Ball's loose. Tawa still have it. Here they go again. Wrestled and pushed. Petone slow out of the blocks in the first 20 minutes. They've slowly worked their way back into this game, and they're now trailing by 2. Over the top is Henry, but he's been brought down by Rasali, who started this game off as a flyer, making that break early on. Hoeti Parapara passes it back to Wormsley, and Wormsley, calm and comfortable, kicks this into touch in front of the Crombie-Lockwood sign for a line out for Petone.
Yep, Tony getting down the danger end again with another good kick. He was aiming for the corner. He got a lot of distance on it, and they tried to run it out, Tawa, but they were shut down, and in the end they have to clear, and Petone will come at them again.
Secured by Henry, pops out into the hands of Green. Teddy Hearn has a bash and a rumble. He's fulfilling that role that has been identified by Yona Apanera over the last few weeks. He's out with a knee injury at the moment. Is the Wellington line for Petone. Khan Green wrestled right into the impending frame of PJ Sheck. Williamson brought down 6 away from the 22. Solomon. And Kershaw wrapped up and potentially a turnover, and is excellent work by Tawa that time. And that was Lofa getting over the top of the ball and securing the holding on penalty for Tawa.
Yeah, well, they had a lot going against them. This time they won it, and it's a good opportunity for them to get up
Let's go, please.
in the right end of the field.
So Luke Wormsley gets this ball into touch, and it'll be a line out for Tawa.
And he did get a good bit of distance on that one. The linesman gave him every inch of what he deserved there.
Eastern touchline. Now Lofa into the target of Iramia. They take it out to this exciting backline. Lua charges forward. And it's been knocked on into contact. And so Petone will have the scrum feed. And while the scrum has been set up, let's just have a look at some of the scores around the grounds.
All right, boys. Mark's on. Okay, you want to come up? You're not happy with the gap?
Well, it's a good insight here. We're actually listening to the... We'll take a pause before the scores come around. Let's just listen to the scrum because he's just talking about the gap. Let's just listen to referee Magnan here.
Give me the space still.
So there we go, scrums come together. Good shunt by Tawa. Henry gets it out in time. Mololo finds the young player in Max Hosking, who mainly plays for the Colts. There was a release and he was allowed to go again. So Petone secure the ball. Henry finds Green again, but it's been knocked on by Kershaw, who looks like he's wearing a bit of a toupee on top of his head there with that tape that's come off. And so it's going to be a Tawa scrum. And now let's have some score updates.
Yeah, well, it's half-time in the Hutt Old Boys game against Wellington. It's 40-7 to Hutt Old Boys. Johnsonville versus Old Boys University, 17-0. Marist St. Pat's versus Rongotai, 15-5 to Rongotai. Pornicky 31, Avalon 0 in their fixture, and Wainuia Mata versus Northern United, still no score in that game for either side.
Tough battle there at William Jones Park, a pending venue. North's losing that regular season game over there, and they'll be looking to get some revenge over there in Wainuia Mata. Back here, it's 14-12. Minutes remaining here in the first half. Scrum collapses, but Magnan allows it to go ahead. Wormsley wrapped up by Hosking, product of Kapiti College. Paongo, acting halfback. Hoiti Parapa fires it back to the hands of Lua. And it's been turned over. Hosking's making a real difference, but he throws it in wildly, and it's been picked up by Hurstich, secured by Ross. And it's a loose ball's advantage being played here. And it's been picked up by Solomon. Solomon kept quiet this time. He scored 4 tries when they last played Tawa. And we're coming back for the penalty.
Just in there, yep. Never onside.
Never onside was the call from referee Mangan. And a decision here for Petone. Will they take the shot at goal? Well, they'll kick to touch. They're going to go for the shot at goal.
Yeah, well, I think it's worth it. TJ Clark will take the shot, and it'll put them, if it goes over, up 15-14. What you would think would be heading into the half, and it would be a good little morale booster for them to head into the half up in this fixture.
TJ Clark, the younger brother of Sam Clark, the first 5 out at Parramatta Pillimerton. TJ himself, once a promising golfer, made his debut for Petone in 2021 against Huddle Boys Marist. He lines this up, and it has skittled away to the left of the posts. But
Oh, that's a mistake, that is.
that's a penalty.
Yeah. Over here.
Well, they threw the ball over the dead ball line, which you can't do.
Shot's called.
And shot's been called. So
Here you go. You can't throw it over.
that was the call. They're not allowed to throw the ball over. And that's what Tawa did, and it's resulted in a penalty for Petone and a much more handier position, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah, well, this is the absolute bonus for Petone here. You missed the penalty from long distance out wide, and a blunder there from Tawa gives them the opportunity to knock over the easy one right out in front.
And so half-time has been called, and it is 15-14. The home side ahead by 1. It was 14-0 after 20 minutes, and Petone have somehow got themselves back into this game. It's been an exciting match played in very windy conditions. But we'll be back here at the Petone Rec in 5 minutes.
There was only one that went down on your side.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I'm happy.
Yep.
My side, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, no, it looked like that was where the issues were, but there was also that short arm line shaking down. Testing. Testing.
Where's your mic?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Testing. Oh yeah, you're right.
Hey AJ, you all good? No.
Yes.
For about 6 seconds. Oh my god.
We'll stay with what we got.
What we got? Okay.
The subs of it, those goes.
Yeah.
Get my attention from out.
Yeah.
Right.
Just line up, come over to me, I'll feedback any trees.
Yeah, mate, I will, because something's getting brutal, so
And what I'll do is I'll fly an eye out on that.
so that's where it's place them, yeah, mate, you said they're creeping.
Yeah.
So I'll give it an eye. I'm fairly happy that they're showing me that definition. Being creeping after. Tackles fairly clean. The guys rolling and they're making the effort and getting on. Happy with it. Scrums issues outside. 3 just so Oh, awesome. Hi, buddy. Come now.
Same picture. Yeah.
Yeah, but find out offside.
Oh, sorry, yep.
So it was never on side the start. Thank you. Good call on that yellow.
Yep.
I had one hand through the bullet.
2-man overlap.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep.
What do we got? 14 morning. He wasn't in touch. He didn't put his foot on.
No, perfect call. As soon as he did it, I went. I know how.
Yeah.
Playing or not playing, but exactly the perfect call. I was like, as soon as he did it, I was like, I was about to look at you.
Right, boys, let's get going now. Number 40. Get working
Give it a go, mate. Yep.
Yeah. Good. Boys, just work hard on those kicks, especially from Tawa. Make sure we're holding those long arms safe. Yeah.
Just at stoppages, pull it up.
Yep. So welcome back to the Petone Recreational Ground. Half-time about to come to an end. The score is 15-14. Petone ahead of Tawa. After 20 minutes, it was 14-0 to Tawa. Luke Dunlop, they look to be possessed and on fire. But a yellow card to Tony Solomona changed the fortunes for Petone. And a little mistake at the end there by one of the Tawa players throwing the ball over the dead ball line after a penalty shot at goal resulted in Petone getting another shot to give them the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't just the yellow card, it was the whole bunch of penalties that stacked up against them in that first half. Discipline will be a key thing for them heading into the second half, as we're just about ready to get back underway. It'll be Walmsley with the kickoff.
Tawa this time playing with the wind behind them. And the second half is underway. And it's been secured by Tawa. So Petone not securing the ball at the kickoff. At the hands of Idamir. Here's Walmsley. He's already got a try to his name. And they wrestle forward. Paonga loses control of the ball, but it's actually come off a hand of a Petone player. They're only 5 away from the line. This is menacing from Tawa. Propulsion rising here in the hands of Rob Carr. Carr driven to ground. Hoeti Parapara surveys. No Lofa found Williamson and Emery. How costly could that error at the kickoff be for Petone? Another advantage being played here against the Villagers. Hoeti Parapara looks, goes again himself. Darts! Scores! No, he hasn't. He hasn't scored. It's been offloaded and now has been scored by Huku Paonga. And good patient build up there.
Absolutely, a few phases put together. Hoeti Parapara went close to the line. Looked as if he was really close. In fact, the referee was on the wrong side of it. He may have even got that on the line, but they managed to recycle it quickly, and they got it out to the right, and another try for Tawa.
Well, an error at the kickoff, and Petone allowing Tawa to score early in the second half. Just where Hoeti Parapara tried to score before, that post pad has nearly come off the posts. Still holding on, just like this grandstand.
Only just.
Kimura Hoeti Parapara, product of Wellington College, and how fitting is it that Wellington College won the quad tournament this week. They beat Whanganui Collegiate in the final. Also playing in that quad tournament is Nelson and Cross from Christchurch. It's the oldest quad tournament for first 15 rugby in the country. The conversion is unsuccessful, so the score remains 19 points to 15. 2.5 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, it's been a grind 'em out kind of game, and it's still close at this point, 19-15 as you say. It'll be TJ Clark to get us back underway.
So how can Petone respond after that early try? Second half, they kick it deep into the 22, and here's a charge, and it's a good charge by Tawa. It's been one asset to their game this afternoon, as they put in the hard work, and here goes Idamir, runs into Cowan, who looks to hold him up, but he's got a knee on the ground, so he must release. Hoeti Parapara fires it back into the 22. Walmsley with that powerful right boot. Been thrown in quickly. The hands of Solomon. Cam Ferreira has a dart and a run, and is brought down, but he might get himself isolated here. Petone have done well. Henry, supported by Clark. And Cowan offloads it to Herstich. Green again, finds Mololo. And Stanley Solomon puts a skip and a dart, and he's still guiding. He gives it off to Emery. And it's a penalty here against Tawa.
Okay, he's falling. That's what saved you. Did you get contact point? Yeah. Thank you.
So he was falling, made contact chest. So that's what the penalty is for. And just getting reassurance from his assistant referee, Trevor Walker, was Dan Mangan. Clark drills this into touch. Be a line out 5 outside the 22. And Ryan Emery scored a vital try for Petone in the first half, and that was much needed because it really did get them back into this game, Luke.
Absolutely, as it looks as if they have lost the ball here, but they get away with it because Tawa knock it on straight back.
So a knock on by Tawa at the line out, so Petone will have the scrum feed, 15 in for the eastern touchline. Northern end of the recreational ground as this sun has disappeared behind the clouds, and this temperature, well, it's pretty icy if you look at it. If you can't see our cameraman Dan Hicks, but it looks like he's wrapped up to go to the South Pole. Let's have a listen to the scrum.
9, starting here. 9. Go! Calling up. Fine! Sit! Oh! Keep it up. Yep, play it away. Play it.
Well, that time there, the front row did collapse, but it was playing away, so play on is the call. It's been picked up by Solomona. Stanley Solomon just hung on to him, and here goes Lua. Runs into Mololo. And there's a penalty being played here against Petone.
Did you get a number?
No arms in the tackle.
13. No arms.
Lester Mololo caught with no arms in the tackle. And so this allows Tawa the opportunity to advance deeper into Petone territory. These two, of course, played each other in the regular season out at Lyndhurst Park. It was Petone that day that won 41 points to 17. Different story here today. It's Jubilee Cup qualifiers, Luke. And it's all to play for in the chase for the prize of silverware in 3 weeks' time. Here goes Hawiti Patapata. Kicks it through! Pawanga can't hang on to the ball, but they're certainly opening up some gaps in the Petone backline. Petone, 5 outside their 22. 15 in. Teddy Hearn has a go, runs into Plummer and Sheku look to hold him up. Cowan fends off one, offloads it. Hosking kicks it through. But it's been knocked on.
That's my call. My call.
Well, that's good officiating from referee Mangan there. There's a whole orchestra of players telling him it wasn't them.
Okay, let's all work hard.
But the referee said, I saw it, I'm calling it.
Yeah, well, it looked as if he looked to drop it onto the boot to stab it through, and it looked as if he missed it completely. The referee sees it the other way and rules the knock-on in favour of Petone, and they will pack down another scrum.
So here we go. Henry feeds. Front rows collapse again, but the ball was available to play. Khan Green finds Hosking, manages to brush off one tackle. Still going as this young man. He mainly plays for the Colts. And of course, he's out here today. He's had to come on with the injury succumbed to Taylor Henry. Teddy Hearn. Ryan Emery looks to find Hoskings again. He's done well as the young man again, gaining good meters. Mololo finds Solomon. Mason Henry out here near the wing. He's played there before. He played a Jubilee Cup final last year on the wing, did Mason Henry. It's been turned over by Solomona, and Solomona can go all the way. He's been brought down by Solomon, but Pawanga Couldn't get the boys pleading that he was taken out, but no protest from the referee. Solomon kicks this ball down to Luke Wormsley. And Wormsley decides to have a run. He gets around Solomon under real pressure. Excellent work there by Luke Wormsley. Khan Green as the temperature starts to rise on the field. Hoskins again. Here's a go! He's open! Can he get around Luke Wormsley? He will! That is a magical try! Max Hoskins! This is why he was selected in the New Zealand touch team to go to Australia at the start of the year. And he's just thrown this game wide open.
Well, he's been all energy since he's been injected into this game, and it's a first premier try for Max Hosking. Good achievement for the young man. And Petone do respond after the half-time. It's taken them 9 minutes, near enough 10, but they're back in front, 20-19, as we prepare for the conversion.
All right, got a minute from now.
Made his debut against the Wellington Axemen. Max Hosking. Mostly plays fullback, but he's come on and, well, he's certainly changed the fortunes for Petone. And what an impressive try, Luke Wormsley. We saw him chase down a Petone player in the first half with great speed. That time there, he was no match for Hosking, who was able to dart around on those dancing feet. TJ Clark with the conversion, and it is successful.
TJ, that last time you slipped out. Keep it up. The last time you slipped out.
And that brings up what I believe is now 100 points in the calendar year in Premier Rugby for TJ Clark.
It's pretty impressive by TJ Clark. How will Tawa respond? It was yet again against the runner play for them. Petone seem to have a habit of this at the moment. Here we go, Wormsley. Oh, the restarts are messy again for Petone. Tawa securing another one. Can they pounce? They scored a try off one before. No Lofa. Wrestled. Oh, it's been knocked on that time by Uta. And so Petone will have a scrum. It's one interesting thing to notice here, Luke, with the way Tawa, they're really stretching out their backs, getting players involved. But when they get out to the chance there where there's some gaps in the back line for Petone, they just seem to be making those mistakes at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's a relatively inexperienced back line and bench for Tawa, but they've got some really talented players out there, but today none of the passes have stuck for them. The rugby we have got when the ball's been in play has been of a high quality, but unfortunately just too many errors from both teams.
So Petone will have a scrum. 4 metres inside their own half. 20 in from the eastern touchline. 22 points to 19 is the score. 12 minutes gone in the second half. For once, we have a relatively stable scrum, and it comes centre field to Khan Green, who kicks it through, but back there for Tawa is jersey 11. That is Salmaki, but unfortunately, his kick went out on the full, and so it's going to be a Petone line-out.
And it just adds to the number of mistakes there for Tawa. Kick going out on the full. Petone in the middle of the 22 and the 10 metre line with an opportunity to attack.
Secured by Mason Henry. They take it out through their backs. Clark has a dart and a run! Cuts them open! TJ Clark! He's going to go over and score! Whoa! Explosive, dynamic, and cut them open like the Red Sea. And TJ Clark scores.
Yeah, well, the fullback comes into the line as a receiver and busts right up the middle. And he had too much pace on the outside, gets through, dots down for another try. And Tawa extend their lead.
Well, that is impressive.
Minute now, bud.
A minute left to take the kick, but that was impressive. A good line out and good pass by Khan Green out to TJ Clark, who saw that gap, and it was a gap that was just enough to sneak through. And here he is looking to line up this conversion. To convert his own try. 30 seconds left on the kicking clock.
What do you got, boys? Yep.
Conversion is successful, and it is now a 10-point ball game. 29 points to 19.
Good start to the second half for Petone. Couple of scores, and like you say, they extended out to 10 points.
Well, some substitutions have happened, and we'll bring those to you very soon. One of them looks to be Luke Walmsley, so that will be a change in potential first five. It's another substitution there, and time is back on. As Rob Carr has been substituted as well. Hoeti Parapala looks like he might be moving into the first five position. Jack Ross contests, but Tony Solomona picks up the scraps, and he's going to be brought down just inside the 22. If it's anything like last year's Jubilee Cup semi-final, with Ben Brookings scoring right at the end to send Petone into the Jubilee Cup final, this game is going to be extremely similar. It's a 10-point margin, Petone at the moment. 29 plays 19. Hoeti Parapala fires out to Lua Lua. He gets around Herstich. Lua Lua offloads. That is going to be just short of the chalk. PJ Sheck, an acting halfback, passes it out. Oh, the ball's been lost. He rolled, was the call from the referee, and lost control. And that was Jacob Moore in his 17th game that unfortunately knocked the ball on, as we have time off here.
Right, time's off to clean our boots, guys.
Time's off to clean the boots. Bring out the shoe polish, give it a scrub, but no, it's just to clean the muds out, because it is a little bit misleading, but as you can see, it looks like a perfect field, but it's very heavy underneath. The water table in Petone is so high, and that's why the mud is coming up. And
no.
Well, Riley Higgins has been told to get back into the technical zone. He's running the water for Petone today. He's got a broken hand. He broke his hand in the McBain Shield final. Didn't realise till Sunday morning that his hand was a bit sore. And he may potentially miss the NPC for Wellington. And he's just been told to get back into the technical zone by referee Mangan. So Petone have the scrum. George Sims has come on as halfback. Product of Wellington College. His brother Archie played a blinder at first five for Wellington College in the quad final on Thursday.
Go, Benny, boy!
And George himself, he runs his own clothing company called Leonard Selection Clothing, apparently. Here we go. And it's a penalty.
You've got a hand.
The call was, and the front row was were not hinging, and therefore the penalty has been awarded for Petone. Oh, but the kick into touch that time didn't come off the right side of the boot there for TJ Clark, and so it's only going to be a metre inside the 22, the line out for Petone. So they're still got to be careful here. They're still under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, well, they'll get the ball back, and hopefully they can work out a better exit strategy this time, hopefully get themselves a little bit further up the field.
Emery's throw, picked up by Williamson. Centre field. Here's Solomon. Oh, it's been charged down, but it's been picked up by TJ Clark. And they're just outside their own 22 now, eastern side of the field. Logan Henry with the box kick. High up in the air. Contest by Solomon and Sims, but Tawa win the battle. Sims out to Mua. They advance towards the 10-metre mark. They pick and go. They look and survey. They look for options. Hoskins been caught up wide, and here goes Pawanga. And he offloads it, and yet again it's been knocked on, is it? It has.
Shoulder here, number 8.
So yet again, Luke Dunlop, another opportunity there for Tawa.
So thank you for that. I was happy it was the puck.
They nearly had an opportunity to get round Petone, and just when they did, they knocked the ball on.
Yeah, it's been the final ball again for Tawa. He just got it behind him. He tried to flick it to himself, and it didn't come off for him.
Right, mark there, boys.
So Petone scrum, and a chance to clear properly this time for Petone.
Keeping it up, boys.
Right, Tony.
So here we go. Scrum feeds. Henry looks in. Passes. Oh, it's a yucky pass. And Solomon tries to kick it out. Oh, this is dangerous for Tony. Solomona, he goes himself. Oh, they've got numbers to beat here if they can do it. Sims has a go. They're just short of the line. And they go and they score. And a messy pass from Logan Henry. And Ezra Dunlop is over the line for Tawa.
He's a big man, Ezra Dunlop, and it was TJ Clark, the fullback, who was asked to do the defence on him on the line. Pushed right over top of him and scores another try for Tawa. It was an interesting decision from Petone in the back line there. They tried to hack the ball away as a loose ball. There wasn't a great deal of pressure on it from Tawa, but he tried to hack it away just off the ground and missed it completely. Tawa scooped it up, and they score again.
Some first 15 scores for you. St Bernard's have beaten Tawa 38 points to 20. And in the other Huddy Sports game that we live streamed to you today, Scots have beaten Silverstream 32 points to 19. So Scots are top of the table in the first 15 premiership, heading into the holiday break. Hauiti Parapara lining up the conversion. It's successful. And the score now, 29 points to 26. Only 3 points in it. And there's still just under 20 minutes to go. This is going down to the wire.
Well, it's been a stop-start game due to infringements all game, but now, with the last 20 minutes shaping up, this is going to be a good game to finish here.
Well taken there in the 22 by Tawa. And they've crashed through, but it's another knock-on.
Wait.
PJ Sheck just giving Williamson a shove.
There's nothing in that. There's nothing in that. Nothing, exactly. He just gave him a push.
Good wit and humour there from referee Mangan.
Come in, Trev. I'm going that way. Yep, got you on that one.
Hugo Plummer protesting.
Well, there's been plenty of opportunity for him to hear it from the players today, the referee, with the amount of stoppages in play there has been, but he's handled it well.
Well, here we go. Logan Henry has been substituted. Cam Ferreira goes back to his normal position of halfback. And this man, his folklore legend who's just come onto the wing, Sam Blackburn. And if you remember the McBain Shield here last year,
Fine. You guys are fine.
they called it the McBain Miracle. And he was the man that scored that try that went viral.
Trust me.
And he's out there on the wing this afternoon for Petone.
Trust me, boys.
He's been playing for the Prem Reserves all season, so this is his first game for the Premiers this season, Sam Blackburn. So here we go. Scrum time. They come together, and it's a penalty against Tawa.
Overextended, you're out. Far side. Overextended and out.
So that's the ruling. Overextended and out is the call that resulted in the penalty. And so TJ Clark for an opportunity to kick this deep into the 22. It's going to be a line out roughly 8 away from the Northern in goal. 29-26. And if they can muster up a way to get a try here, we'll just make that margin a little bit safer for Petone.
Yeah, it'll be a big score down here if they can make something of this line out.
Secured by Ross, and they swarm around him. And they put on the ball. The ball's in the hands there of Ryan Emery. He's looking in forensically. Hemi Fermanis has been told to get back. Hugo Plummer with a shunt and a push. It's at the back again in the hands of Williamson by the looks of it. Cam Ferreira barking at the forward. He gets it out now to Malolo. He crashes over. Has Moore got over the top? It's been turned over. Excellent work by Tawa. They managed to get the ball quickly. It cuts back out to Lua, who bangs this into touch. But they're not out of the neck of the woods yet. Still a line out here for Petone. 3 metres inside the 22 eastern touchline. 29 plays 26, with roughly about 15 minutes to go.
Stepping down, Floyd.
Mason Henry. Well,
I got no call that way. No, it went back off.
Well, that's an interesting call there, Luke Dunlop. From what we saw, Mason Henry, I thought, might have been close to knocking it on, but the referee said no. He's probably in a better position than we are.
Yeah, the ball was scrappy off the top of the line out. It looked like it went forward and then subsequently knocked on by the Tawa player. But it goes the way of Petone again.
Well, when it's going your way, it's going your way. And at the moment, the knock-ons are ruling in favour of Petone. And they have a scrum. 15 in from the eastern touchline for inside the 22. You can just get the sense of the nerves around the ground. The crowd is quiet. And the front rows come together. Ferreira feeds. Out to Green. Green has a go himself. Has he got himself isolated? There's a turnover, and it's happened, but Hoskins is there. But it's been knocked on. And so that time there, Tawa will get the scrum feed. And while the scrum is getting set up, let's have some score updates from the second half of Around the Grounds in Jubilee and Hardham Cup Rugby.
Yeah, we've got Johnsonville extending their lead out to 39-7 against Old Boys University. Marist St. Pat's still trailing, 15-22. Rongotai with the lead there. Hutt Old Boys 57-17, a big win for them over Wellington. Pornicky 36-0, Avalon struggling to get on the board. And Wainuia Mata versus Northern United still reading at 0-0. But also still suggesting it's still in the first half. So maybe something going on there at that game.
Well, yeah, anything's possible. We did have a little bit of a glitch of internet at the start of our game. So anything's possible. Back here is 29 points to 26. And there's been a change in the front rows. Ryan Emery has come off. He's been replaced by Luke Flett. And Alapatasoki has also come on and replaced Pet Cowan. So Ben Kershaw looks like he might be having to play the whole 80. Here goes Stanley Solomon, chips it through, kicks it through. Oh, that's a clever kick. Now that is good. Now Stanley Solomon actually is a first 5. Luke. And, well, actually that was a 50-22. So Petone get the ball. He's a first 5. It was New Zealand schoolboys last year, was Stanley Solomon. He's an emerging talent in the rugby scene. Playing on the wing today, but he'll be playing probably first 5 before you know it. Oh, loose ball! It's loose ball again! And it's Tawa who pounced on the ball. Another costly error potentially there for Petone, Lua cuts them open, offloads to Puanga, so Tony Solomona, can he get one out? Oh, he goes over and scores! That is brilliant! Another mistake by Petone, and a try results for Tawa.
Absolutely brilliant run there. Tawa get on the board again and take the lead back. That'll make it 30 to 29. 31 in fact. And that all stemmed from what was a turnover at the line out after a terrific kick which just trickled inside the 22, giving Petone the ball, but they managed to fumble it. And Tawa go the length of the field, and it's finished off by Tony Solomona in the corner.
Well, after a brilliant kick from a 50-22, a messy line out, and Tawa pounce, and Ben Kershaw is receiving medical attention. It looks like he's nursing that arm of his. And it'll be Hauiti Parapala to extend this out to a 4-point lead. A place in the Jubilee Cup second round is on the line. The conversion is successful. So it's a 4-point margin now. Tawa back in front.
Good kick from out wide for Hauiti Parapara. 4-point lead. Petone need to respond again. It's been their second half, but this is where it matters now. 10 minutes to go.
Last year's Jubilee Cup semi-final, 15-12 to Petone, right down into the 84th minute. And it's 33 plays 29 here this afternoon. And Tawa ahead. Clark's kick has gone out on the full. Another error by Petone.
Are you comfortable? So you got no prop? Okay. Here you go.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. It sounds like Petone don't have a prop on the field. We'll just listen in.
August, come on, so I've got to go golden.
Uncontested scrums. No front rows left, but Josh Salvo in jersey 19 has come on. Now he's actually
make sure you get your bind.
a flanker who is turned into a hooker.
Got to stay in, 8 hands attached.
But because Ben Kershaw has gone off, and also
right,
Pet
let's go
Cowan
now.
gone off injured, there's no more props, so it's going to be uncontested scrums, or what some call golden oldies.
Well, that's huge to end the game. 8 minutes remaining on our clock. And to not be able to contest the scrums here, considering there's been so many penalties in that area of the game so far, that's huge.
Blackburn manages to keep it in. Solomon has 2 to beat. Oh, he's done well there, Stanley Solomon. And he kicks it over halfway. Lua chasing back after the ball. He decides to have a run. Solomon pricing up, but Lua does well in time to get off him. Sims surveys and skips the pass out to Oti Parapara, who kicks this down. Blackburn's inside just outside the 22. He has a kick. And that's a good nudge. Good nudge there by Blackburn. Just takes some pressure off. And Tawa will have the line out. 10 metres inside their own territory in front of the grandstand touchline.
Yeah, it was a good kick. The Tawa dugout was pointing to that area of the field, trying to get someone to come back and defend it. Petone spotted it, stabs the kick in, and a good opportunity here inside the Tawa half.
Secured by Plummer. One game for the Hurricanes this year against the Western Force and Palmerston North was Hugo Plummer, who signed on with the Wellington Lions this season. Hauiti Parapara, a flat kick. Solomon's back there. Has a bit of a short judge and decides to kick it himself. And that's going to be a line out for Tawa, 5 metres inside Petone territory. 33 points to 29. Roughly 7 minutes to go.
Let's go, Red.
Advantage Tawa at the moment. Sheck has knocked it on, and so Jack Ross has the ball. So what can Petone do now? They have to be the next team to score. Clark stretches it out to Mololo. He's brought to ground. The support players arrive. Good charge by Sam Tornisi. John O'Bailey in jersey 19 on the paddock for Petone as well. Ferreira reaches. Williamson. This looks like he's going to be grinding out a full 80. Ferreira slips and has been knocked on by Mololo as the pass was not flashed by Ferreira.
Scrum.
And it's going to be a scrum here for Tawa.
And we've got a man down. Take some time off the clock. But the referee, he may have ordered the time off here.
Well, there's two players down. Both look like they've got cramp. One looks like to be
30 seconds, eh?
Hugo Plummer.
Yeah, mate. All right, say it's off. Okay.
Not a bad time to get cramp when you're up 4 with 5 minutes to go. The referee was quick to take the time off.
Okay, let's go, please. Time's on.
Another first 15 score for you this afternoon. And the first 15 international between St. Pat's Town and Rongotai. St. Pat's Town have won 22 points to 5. So that keeps St. Pat's Town in the hunt for the top 4. So centre field with Lua runs into Khan Green. Sims out to Idamir. Looking to get over the top of the ball that time, Petone, but couldn't. Good push off there by Hemi Fermanus. A man that won the Jim Brown medal in the Jubilee Cup final in 2021. Idamir at the back. Runs into Josh Salville. Here's Redunlop. Runs into Bailey. And it's a penalty.
Straight down.
Sealing off.
Down.
And it's the experience of Tito Juguani that was penalised there.
For Valacha. Straight down.
Made his debut, Tito Juguani, a long time ago. This is from Club Rugby's records. He's playing his 159th game today.
Yeah, all the way back in 2006 for Tito Ioane. And it's an old school move, isn't it? Flopping on the wrong side of the breakdown there. But unfortunately gets pinged for it this time, and Petone have a chance.
Number? Okay, time is now on.
So, Hemi Fermanus' afternoon is over. Another loyal workhorse for Tawa. Luke Flett with the line-out throw. Knocked back by Henry. Centre field with Khan Green. Mololo finds Hosking. Skips in front. Out to Sam Blackburn. Blackburn runs into Poango. Roughly 3 minutes to go. And Petone, if they've got to stay in the fight, they have to score a try. Alapatesoki takes it into contact. Tornisi wrestled. Luke Flett puts his head down and goes. Has someone got over the top of the ball for Tawa? No, they haven't. Jack Ross. Wrestled and slammed. Salville comes in support. Sims pleads for a penalty. It's come! George Sims, the halfback, earns a holding on penalty.
No ruck. 21. Driving, holding on.
Good work by the halfback. Getting involved in the forwards there and managing to secure the ball. So roughly about 2 minutes to go. And Tawa looking quietly confident here, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah,
They've got the W.
Exactly, they'll feel they're in a good position, 4 points up with a minute remaining.
Yeah, time's off, don't worry. All right, time's on.
So referee Mangan making sure time stopped just so they can make sure that there's no sort of wasting around. Plummer can't get the ball, so Petone have it through Jack Ross. Ferreira reaches in, gives it out to Bailey. Bailey head down, gets to work. There's a knee on the ground, so they have to release the ball. Tawa. Salvo. Stanley Solomon. If they need some magic now, it must come from him. Max Hosking is wrapped up. Ferreira reaching in. Salvo goes, one hand fend. Here they go, Petone, TJ Clark, a high pass out to Sam Blackburn. But he's wrestled high in the contact and he may have lost the ball. He knocked the ball on.
There's the picture we got. I got bored.
Well, Cam Ferreira's not happy, but referee Mangan has said,
And it's gone forward.
said it went forward.
Correct. He's off control.
Khan Green just seeking reassurance. Well, there's time's up on our clock. There's about 40 seconds left on the ground clock. This may potentially be maybe one of the final plays of the game here, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah, and it's a Tawa feed to the scrum. Obviously uncontested, so they will retain the ball here easily.
Lua high to the tackle. Brought down by Ross. Hand there from Bailey. There's a counter-ruck coming on. Petone have got the counter-ruck. They got the penalty. And the man in the middle there putting pressure on.
Can't. You're not going to catch him.
Josh Salvo doing excellent work there. Josh Salvo, this is his first game since the Jubilee Cup final last year. He had a really good off-season. He was injury-free.
10 seconds.
And then in pre-season games against Oriental Rongotai, he picked up an ankle injury that actually turned out to be a little bit worse. And it's only taken until now for him to come back and play rugby.
Well, this might be the last play for Petone. They were a bit hard done by on the distance on the kick, but they're still near enough to 22. This could be it for Petone. And they don't secure the line out.
It's been knocked on. Idemir has the ball, and it's a penalty because Williamson's tackle was too high.
Tap out. We're done.
Tap out. That will be full time. And Tawa finally beat Petone at the Petone Rack. They avenged their last-minute loss last year. And Tawa continue in their quest for the Jubilee Cup. Petone, they fought hard. They were in this fight for a long time. But Tawa dominated that last 15 minutes. And Petone go down to the Harlem Cup there, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah, well, it turned out to be a good game in the end. There was a lot of stoppages all day, and for the Tawa wore the brunt of it in terms of the penalty count for most of the game. But when it really mattered in those last 15, 20 minutes, it all flipped, and Petone started losing the ball, giving it away, and Tawa kept their composure. And in the end, they run out the 4-point victors.
So the celebrations for Tawa. They advance to the next round, and while we're waiting for players to celebrate and shake hands, let's see some of the final scores impending in the rest of the competitions.
Yeah, Johnsonville 46-12 over Old Boys University in their game. Looks like there might be a little bit of time remaining in that one, but you'd think Johnsonville would take the win there. Marist St. Pat's have got back against Rongotai. They've got it close. It's only a 5-point game with a few minutes remaining in that fixture. Hutt Old Boys run out. Big winners over Wellington, 62-24. Porniki over Avalon, 58-7. And Wainua Mata, 53-38 over Northern United. So that score has been updated. And the 0-0 didn't last that long. In the end, Wainua Mata putting 53 points on them. And unfortunately today we haven't been able to get the scores all day for the Parramatta Plimerton game against Upper Hutt Rams. Unfortunately for that, so I do apologise for that fixture there.
So a week off for Johnsonville as they advance straight to the prelim semi-final. But here, Tawa live to fight another day in the Jubilee Cup. For Petone, unfortunately, they're now down in the Hardham Cup, but they've still got a chance for some silverware. It's been a real pleasure bringing you this game this afternoon on Huddy Sports. Many thanks to our cameraman, Dan Hicks, always good behind the lens. Luke Dunlop providing you co-commentary and score updates. And I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.